Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning. Okay. So, here we are. The open's going to be here in just a minute. We had a very narrow range overnight. Remember yesterday, we had a pretty good down move. I think that we're going to come back up and test this 145. I could be wrong, of course, but I think that we might come back up and touch that. The E-mini was on a tear yesterday. Pretty strong, and when I look across the board, many good indicators. Some stocks breaking out, good highs. Like, this is definitely a move that could continue. A lot of this, there's still some headline risk. We still got to get Canada on board with this trade deal thing. Donald Trump is probably going to be tweeting things this morning. It looks to me like he is on the warpath again now that he has the trade deal secured. So we'll see. But yeah. And then let's look at the news docket for today. I haven't looked at that. So we do have goods trades balance and preliminary wholesale inventories in 10 minutes. So we have some good numbers. And yeah, oh yes, let's grab the links. Hey, good morning. It's an awfully small range, guys. So I'm looking at this like, if I come back on my daily chart here. So like, you get kind of like, I don't know if this particular spot is not necessarily the right one. Where is it? Sometimes you get like a reversal day, like here. This one's about the same length, and then you get a lot of really range bound days before it actually breaks. More so in like the 10-year. Anyways, I mean, it looks negative to me. It looks like we're going to be turning around, but they're testing up first. This might be a range day. It might be a range day. I'm going to get goods trades balance though. That's an important number. things seem particularly slow. I wonder if we're going to have a really rangy day today.
Day. 9 o'clock we get CB consumer confidence thing substance.
You got a 5-year note auction. And you know what? It's funny, but the day before GDP, I think, is more predictable. Quantitative perspective.
That's right.
Me, I'm having a hard time with it because I know yesterday was a pretty decent down day, and all of the longer term charts look really positive risk on to me. But you know, sometimes after you get a move like that, there's a tendency to be range bound the day after. So it's kind of like they could totally sell it and sell it big, but they could be completely range bound too.
Well, the 16 times since 2015 funds have 30.
Just don't want to sell the shorter end of
Yeah. The only thing I'm seeing right now that is interesting is that they are selling the 30-year.
Yeah, I've been noticing that they're sitting there hitting it pretty consistently, but I mean, not really based on anything. But
Yeah.
they're definitely not selling into 10.5 in the 10-year, and that bid is staying strong.
It hasn't even been like 2,000 contracts in the first 10 minutes. So yeah, I think the best scenario would be they equities look toppish to alligator. Okay, well. But I think the best scenario would be we go back up to that 145 area and bounce off of it. Hmm. So negative 72 versus 68.
Trying a crude short again.
Well, the trades balance was bad, but the what is this? Wholesale inventories. Yeah, it was really, really much higher. Well, how big of an outsize is that? It's a moderately big sized beat, but I think that's why they sold it down a tick.
Canceled my buy. I'll buy it actually.
I mean, I'm tempted to do something here, but it's just been so slow. Let's, well, we're just sitting here. Where is it? There we are. Let's fix our mouse here. I think let's do this 4-1 and let's change that to be the home key. Okay. And then let's change in here. There. Now when I hit stuff up, don't risk sending like a ton of 4s into the channel. No, it was a quiet day. We didn't even have very many people on Twitch.
Who's perfectly.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the flat yield curve thing is being overhyped because, you have a negative carry, of course it's going to be flat.
Yesterday, bonds went down 10 ticks, 820.
Oh, there you go. There's a down tick. I'm tempted to just sell into it, but I think that my plan needs to be let them test the bottom, come back up. Maybe we're able to take a short on a pullback. It's only 2 ticks down to the low of the day, so it doesn't really make sense to. The target's ZB at 26. It's a little weird because the big bids don't line up this time. You don't see a big one in ZN until 07. And this right here, 075, is. What about, okay.
Volume is just abysmal for that.
Very growthy. Okay. So they're having some trouble at 095 there. It seems like people are fading this move.
Are you trying to do JGBs or the Nikkei? No. There's a yen-denominated CME contract. There's just a USD.
Just had a bunch of new people to pop in on YouTube. Good morning, everybody. I was worried because when you don't have a lot of people watching on YouTube or Twitch, it's usually a slow day. Now there's people. Maybe we can embarrass ourselves. Hey Uzi, where were you yesterday? Were you watching yesterday? So I didn't see you post anything. Okay. I'm a little unsure about this one, but it matches. It fits my parameters.
1,000 lots in one click just hit 62 in the bund.
I think we need to open up this. So there was some big guys trying to stop it at 0.95. I'm gonna need to do 3 on this one. I took Friday and Monday off because we took it down a massive tree. Oh man. I don't know what that's like, Uzi. It's been hot this year. I've been working on my yard, and oh my gosh, it is so bad out there. I've placated my obsessive compulsiveness by making all of the windows be exact. Well, I saw an entry location there long, but now I'm not liking what I'm seeing on the offers in the 5-year.
Now.
That right there. Ah, they pulled. Oh, there you go. It completely pulled when they ticked up.
Finally, my fucking marijuana stock is crashing.
You held it through the whole thing?
I got squeezed out of most of it when it broke out of 55, and I reshorted this morning at like 55, 60. Broke yesterday, it was like basing.
Wow. Wow.
Thing is, it's crazy, man. It went from like $30 to 60 in
2. Right.
Block sell.
Ooh, okay, block sell. They're gonna fight over it, I guess.
Yeah, this 27 area on ZB, it's a gap in the cash. That's kind of like higher time frame. We've tested 3% on the 30-day yield already 5 times this year, and it feels like they kind of want to break through. I think if they're going to do it, they're going to go 27s and then trickle back towards the highs in bonds.
Oof.
That's more ZB at 20.
1,000 of those that traded in.
Yep, there's been a big order in every single one of those ticks, up and down. But that seller means business.
Tens 30 contract is offered at 2.5.
So that's not positive.
US equity. And itself. Trading above.
Hmm. Oof. I don't know. I'm seeing people buying it in ZB, but
So I'm buying, but I'm using. I don't think we'll trade below once here today.
White House.
I think it's fun the way that those British guys say Canada. As they really enunciate their consonants, you know, their sharp sounds. Canada. And they're hitting 0.85. The 5-year is kind of fighting back a little bit now. Well, they seem to be following the 30. go.
Just under 9 minutes. Okay. Time of it. But a prior reading.
Of course, there's a little bit there at 08. I don't think I can take that one.
So just
last 10 minutes, 13,000 is sold in 8.
I think that was just a little bit early. That big order at 26, that big offer at 26 in the 30-year looks suspicious to me.
Almost 15,000 now. Last 10 minutes, sold into 8s. Getting red book. Oh, never mind. We just got.
it's in US equity. Those error won't.
Ludlow saying that the White House is looking into Google. If that means they're learning how to use Google or teaching Trump how to use Google.
No. This morning, Donald Trump was really upset because he was Googling himself on, and the search results were biased against him, he felt.
Oh, I was joking, but I didn't realize
Oh,
it
okay.
was funnier than what.
No, that's really what happened. I think it's going to be an interesting story because I believe that the algorithm is fair, but people are gaming the algorithms. So we'll see what they do.
I think it's all pretty fair. Just people love talking shit about him. You know, crap.
Well, yeah, you go on Reddit and every day they'll have posts where people are putting images with specific keywords trying to get to the top of image search and stuff. That people have always gamed the algorithm, and the left is a lot better at it than the right is.
Shit, funds went all the way back to the lows.
I'm seeing a lot of level 2 changes here. What's with that?
Heads up. It's time.
Crash
on.
here.
So
Go new
I'm
low
the
in the
month looking
fund.
for
Catalyst
6
drags the 10-year
and
dates. 10 years waiting to see if the bund is like. We're at 14,000 contracts for a 5-minute interval.
One minute.
That's that. No more buying for me. Look below 20.
Did you catch how many came back into 26 when we were up there? Because it did pull off a little bit.
Percentage visions for the
Reload.
4%.
There was a big bit there that got gobbled up, maybe support turned resistance. Yeah, so that's exactly what I'm looking at. But I think that they come back up and they'll go right through it. But you know, like I was saying, it's not lined up. Now it's lining up. See? Now it's lining up, but the problem I see now is it's too far. Oh, actually, it's not. 07 is the support zone. Why did I not have that? So I have this 070 in the 10-year marked. There was a 13K iceberg there way back. They might go through this.
Block by.
Okay. The E-mini really pushed up there on that last drive. I don't know. To me, it seems dangerous to be offering that much at 075. So that maybe that means that this guy, I mean, I think the probability that we reverse here is a little bit higher. And then to be offering that much, that must mean he's really confident. But then if he's that confident and then he loses, if they buy that up again, I mean, they did it once, maybe they'll do it again. Let's see. So not exactly chomping at the bit to take 7. Although the big bid did disappear. I mean, they pulled quite a bit. Yeah, okay. They let them go for it and absorbed. Wow. I think you gotta buy that one.
Block
twos
sell.
with a lot of there. But then they sold them.
Then they sold it. Well, I could be wrong here, but I have to take that one. Yep, I'm wrong. Yep.
Corresponded with a 6,000 lot sell in the December 2000 or the December 18 $1.
Block sell.
Oh my gosh, wow.
Selling the shit out of your.
I don't know, they're still absorbing a lot. This may be one of those, you know. I don't know. I'm not gonna mess with it. I'm just gonna watch and see what it does.
Net sold 18 or net sold 1,000 since 8/5. 4 minutes. We'll have a buy program in the 5.5. Shit.
Yeah, well, you're starting to run into spots where a lot of people are buying just based off of the math
Block
of the
buy.
move. So we're at this is now a third standard deviation move, and so there's a high probability of a reversal around this area. It's kind of hard to pick the exact spot though.
How the quarter level. It's very expensive. Actually came in long here from 1.5. But I could have got 2. And I thought about selling 25 evens, but I thought that there was no way it would sell. Like the front end of the curve would sell off hard enough for it to matter in the 2-year. It doesn't seem like this is on any kind of news either. I mean, it's not like there's any major risk being.
Yeah, it's like
because of a headline anyway.
Well, but the stock market has been pushing up pretty strong as this has been happening.
It's true.
Ugh. Yeah, you have a bunch of things working against bonds. Basically, oil is up a lot this week, and the stock market at 50-day or all-time high. And these things have kind of, they don't reflect themselves immediately in bonds, but then you have days like this when like trend down a little bit because stocks at all-time high and crude being up $2 course of a few weeks has some inflationary reflected in a couple days. Have a few days like that.
Something else that's kind of interesting is I came in this morning. European rates. The bond was way above the UF.
Highs, yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, and the BABA was making new highs, and all of T-Plex traded in like a 5 to 7 tick range all night. Pretty much ignoring European rates. And as soon as the bond and BABA decided they weren't going to make new highs, I mean, drug everything down.
Still long, but I'm about 5 ticks of water. That's not bad. If I'm right, like we should reverse pretty hard, but if we just reverse 3 ticks and then come back down, I'm just. Let's have a theory. When it does this like range bound trading, has this really, really sharp downturn, I'd like to think that it usually goes back above that overnight high.
Block sell.
Over the next day and a half or so.
Jeez, this seller's not done yet. We'll see. He sold at 06.
Like the seller will wait till I get more coffee.
Right.
I'm gonna get some more coffee.
That's a lot of sell volume. If it does come back, I think you might be right that it could be really violent on the way back.
It's like especially before equity open, even if they're making new highs and everything, but before equity open, this kind of move, like I really want to run the stats. And I know it'd be really simple because I've always just operated under the assumption that's obviously it's not like a controversial assumption among treasury scalpers that of course your best movement is between the 7:20 Central Time open and then the 10:30 Central Time where European cash markets close.
Yeah.
I mean, you can just pull up a 10-minute or a 5-minute chart and look at the pit session, and obviously those bars are wider day after day. Then right after 10:30, then it's like the price pretty much just chops. Very rare that price does anything after that. But I mean, I bet this is statistically unprecedented for like the time period between 7:20 to 8, or 7:20 to 8:30. I bet the major move really comes after equities. I mean, that's my experience. That's been the case. I mean, you get okay movement after 7:20, but then it's like by 8 o'clock, things typically die down for 30 minutes before equities open.
Yeah, and I would argue unprecedented for the time of year too, because this week before September is usually really, really slow.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think of that. That's another kind of factor in it.
The level 2 looks really weird to me. Like, this looks to me not like games. This looks to me like there was some really big players in there on that lost. So they're fighting it at 06 still. Okay, well, they were able to get the 06 to hold.
Alright, so using 17. Okay. Drop off.
I may have to pull this 075.
I'm right, we'll trade back to 6 in hours. Days like this.
So seeing that big bid at 055. I'm wondering, is this 07 pulse? Okay, so these bids down here aren't pulling at all. And that's good. This looks like the seller's not giving up though.
Play back for the equity open.
This right here. Okay, now they're hitting the 055. Okay, the bid at 055 is not nearly as strong now. And this 060 looks awfully stubborn. Seems to me at the moment Mm. Level 2 is showing some flipping now.
Ended up getting out.
That L60 not being bid is concerning to me. Okay, so that might be significant there. It seems to me that the big offer at 075 is pulled down to 070. Okay, so when we take that 37, and I'm seeing the book flip a little bit in the bond, so the bond could come back to 26. This is where I want to say It was like 1,400. Seeing this.
Well, off. Correct fund to help.
Hmm. Oh, 6-0 going weak again. A little bit pulled there. Hmm. Well, nobody's bailing yet. I don't know what the deal here is. They did buy it. I don't know, that tick up at 06 doesn't seem quite as strong. With 5 years maybe flipping though.
In Canary Wharf handles litigation. Coming out via Twitter verification, but packages of station.
That must be the UK because I've never heard of those places. Okay. Yeah, the E-mini open is really weak. I don't get what the deal here is. We're still only 3 ticks back on in the 30-year. Not even that, 2 ticks really. Offers a little bit stronger now. See, there's now 52, 5, 56. This is still big. ZB having trouble at 19. Well, 36 at 06 is a lot better than it's been there. They're actually building up to 4,000 now. So I think that's good. Not quite there in ZB. We need to take 19 and hold it, and then maybe we could get a reversal in ZB. So it's going to take a little bit.
We get the same kind of action for like another 15 minutes.
Police are conducting investigation in South Key Station. Have closed a
So we get
say there's no impact on the rest of the estate.
DB consumer confidence.
Yeah, the volume in the E-mini looks really concerning. So they had a huge buying before the open, then they pulled back a little bit, and then off of the open they bought again, but they didn't make a higher high in cumulative delta, and volume overall was low, and now they're drifting back towards the bottom of that last pivot.
Buying coming in $100 as well.
Fun. You can get this marijuana stock.
Okay, now the update there. UK police saying the incident in South Key Station near Canary Wharf has been stood down. Nothing suspicious.
Okay. Come on.
Just in Forex now, looking at the Mexican peso, a little bit of, not so much a correction, but a back. This is following caution starting to build into the post-deal euphoria. We saw yesterday the US-Mexican struck. At the moment, against the US dollar, it's 18.83.82.
ZB not giving up 19. There's a couple more steps down in the E-mini. Oh, there's a bubble here. More on the bid side. Okay. Well, that looks a lot more positive in the 30-year now. They've ticked up to 19 in the 20th week. Quite the selling at 065. And they get through it. Okay. Touch 21, please. No. It's gonna be like that, huh? It's gonna be like that, huh? They never quite touched 16, did they? So I wish I had realized this earlier, but they never actually touched the 16 in ZB, which they really like 16. It's unusual to not touch it. Still playing the games. Still not even getting over 0.65. I don't know. This tough call.
Yeah, it looks like they sold 425 there, but they bought it back with 231. Yeah, never traded 60.
Now I'm getting this pulling at every level thing again. I'm wondering if that's just rhythmic. Now once again the 19's not there. Being troublesome. Okay, that's weird. So it's not just a rhythmic CQG thing. There really was just 400 pulled at almost every level.
Well, yeah, it's probably because the news that's to come out.
Oh yeah, there is news. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Market making out
What do we have?
yeah, CB can.
More pulling. Okay.
Seen the South African rand against the dollar there at 14 exactly. Come off 14.16. One headline that's been around in the last few minutes: South Africa's its expropriation bills withdrawn amid constitutional review. South African rand now jumping 1.4% against the US dollar.
Well, that's good. Pretty sure that what they were doing was in line with their constitution, though, wasn't it? I mean, I don't know. What's happening in South Africa is really messed up.
ANC committee says it's withdrew the bill due to parliamentary process of reviewing Section 25 of the Constitution.
The expectation is
underway. This is South Africa.
I covered my crude short.
ANC also reiterates commitment to pursue the expropriation of land without compensation.
126.7 is the expectation.
News in from Richmond Fed services revenues index plus 31 in August, that's versus plus 23 in July. The composite manufacturing index plus 24 against plus 20 in July. And the manufacturing shipments, consumer confidence, consumer confidence index
was rallying,
comes in at 107.6 in August versus July, revised to 102.4, previously 101.7.
That's a crazy high consumer confidence number. $133.
US August Consumer Confidence Index 133.4. Consensus there was 126.7, so the big beat, versus July revised 127.9, previous 127.4.
I guess maybe that move down this morning was just somebody getting the number way early. Because look, I mean, it's not like anything's moving.
Yeah, it might be. I don't want to see if if this area holds. I think that's it. 07's one bid in the 10-year.
No, that 06 went off her again.
The buns are still. All right.
So interesting, all of the books are actually bid now. A lot of the offers above us pulled. And yet they're having a hard time getting above 060.
So the US consumer confidence number there in August coming in at its highest since October 2000.
Well, at least compared to the one that we had yesterday that was forever like this, we were at the balance area. This time we caught below the balance area. So I think at least we caught the right spot. But the question is, should we have taken... Where's... Do I not have one open?
Watch TLRY.
Yeah. What's it take? We've had +3. What's it take to get it to move past this? And now we're at break even.
Seeing some reaction to the consumer confidence data now with the dollar. Just picking up a bit against like the euro and the yen, following that better than expected consumer confidence read.
E-mini still looks weak, by the way. Okay, well they're pulling here now.
I just noticed a GDP tracker, Barclays GDP tracker, is down some 0.4 at 2.8%. It's a US GDP tracker. Outlook at negative.
It's this sucker right here. And they said, oh, nope, we're done. That's as high as you go. Why are you long before the 5-year auction? Usually when there's auctions, we do tend to move up. But the 5-year auction has never really been super...
Started really, pre that announcement, that expropriation announcement.
Never necessarily been super big mover. I don't know. It's not something that I've paid attention to much. I'm just long because of this. But it doesn't seem to be working, does it? And now you got this sucker here in the 5-year. Okay, so a bit of pulling there. There's still 32. They might finally have a chance to catch the sellers underwater here in the 5-year. These big offers at 170, 170, or sorry, 17 and 17 quarter. If they can just, I think you just buy that whole thing. I mean, the E-mini could definitely take another haircut here. They're going to probably try and hold it at 29 though. So we'll see. Nope. And this despite the E-mini coming down a little bit and finally coming out of the value area. Futures have just been selling it the whole way. Like a flip, tick down. Curious. Okay. So did you see that build up to 8? Yep.
Just in the pricing of an SSE 650 million euro worth of 9-year green bonds at 65 basis points over mid swaps.
Man, look at that. It's like everybody in the 10-year just collectively puked at once there. That's bad.
Everybody everywhere.
Yeah, the confusing thing to me is that the E-mini is breaking down and breaking some of its support now when it did it.
Yeah. Wow.
I got killed.
They sold the bond and everything.
They sold everything. I covered the rest of my. Totally.
See, so the problem that I have with this, the way that I've been doing things, is you kind of get one, you be in it forever and it just never goes.
Look at Eurodollar Canada spread in some flow here. It's deck 18, deck 19 Eurodollars. The payer, buyer paying 36 on 500. 35.5, 36 on the follow, 35,000 by 500. As we see Treasuries make new lows around the 04 level. With 24 given, 20,000 given from 6.5 for the lows.
It's not like I didn't even see it coming, because I did try offering out at 06 and would have been filled if I had kept it. Like if I had not pulled it. So there's 035.
Is now down full point plus 5/30 seconds since yesterday's settle.
Yeah, the thing I find frustrating about this kind of action is that it's like, for the longest time, you'd have big walls like that, and it would stop them.
Shell Convent, Louisiana refinery raises.
And now, actually for the past month, I'd say they've been going through them eventually, but it's like it waits forever and ever and ever. And there's like almost no warning, and it's like you can only take it as it's happening. So then if you start doing that, and then that's when they flip it around and those walls will start holding every time again.
Right. Yeah, I think it was yesterday I tried a few plays where I didn't really wait for a good entry. I kind of just thought it was like, I would literally sell the low and get shaken out before it finally went, but it would eventually go. But yeah, so now that's why today every time we saw it sold, or every time I saw it sell off like that, I was hesitant to jump in because
bought some gold at 12.13.
Selling gold.
I bought gold 12.13.
Well, and the other thing is, it's not like they didn't give us a signal short, because when we came up there at like 17 quarter, right? I remember I said, oh, there's a bunch of big offers there. If they actually decide to go for it, you could catch them underwater, and yet they didn't go for it, and that's when we started heading for the lows. I think part of what happened to me there was I was really I was in it for a really long time, you know? And so it was like when I offered out at 06 and then I pulled it, I was like, well, let's just give it some time. We could probably go bid at 06 and it could sit around here and it could do this a little bit longer. You know what I mean? So I think that was my mistake there. That I let a little bit of bias. I let the investment, the amount of time that I had invested in it, you know, I had invested so much time in it that biased my view and made me stay in it when I should have gotten out. And if you had taken it as she goes, you would have made 4.
Scared about 4.5 there. Probably just a lot of shortcut.
Yeah. Well, but it's not bad. It's like if you are playing that area, you're selling the bottom of the range. So what ends up happening is, if you're right, yeah, okay, you could have gotten 4, but if you're wrong, or even if you're just too early, you're gonna lose 2 to 4, like every freaking time. So you can't just sell the bottom of the range every time. You have to have a good reason to know when it's going to go through and when it's not.
Yeah, I'm more mentioned a few stats before. I watched those rotations in the 30-year. the 4-tick rotation. I mean, it's a pretty decent
Right.
bell curve or whatever as far as 4-tick rotation, or most common and whatever. And so I generally I'm only gonna take shorts while we're underneath VWAP, and then I have a few other trend type indicators that I'm moving. And so basically, when I'm looking, like I'll post my chart the way it's looked all morning. If I had traded this correctly, I basically would have just watched for a 4-tick rotation. Like earlier, we came down to 17, traded up and traded into 21s. So ideally, I would have sold 20. That's what my whole system and everything would have told me to do. I just didn't. And then I would have, I mean, that would have been a hell of a trade, selling 20s all the way down to 10s, and then rotate back up to 14s, sell 13s there. Because I still have a short bias. Here, I'll post a picture of the chart. So I posted on Twitter yesterday. I said, you'd think with all these fucking pretty colors on my charts that it'd be Richmond.
Right. So I get your strategy. I mean, I can totally see that. And I've kind of tried that sort of a thing too. But the place that I always get screwed up on that one is that then the range day comes along, right? And so
yeah. And that's part of where watching order flow, and it's not like I have the chart right on the screen right in front of me. That's all I'm looking at. I still watch the order flow, and it's still the number one. It's the leading indicator kind of thing. And so I'm only going to do something if the order flow is going along with it. And then also some of the edge or discretion, edge that you develop from discretion rather than from your system is trying to identify when it's, if you feel like it's going to be a trend day or a range day, and trying to decide that early on and getting in that mindset.
So at what point today would you have decided that this was going to be a trend day?
Probably, no, we broke some major kind of lows here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was kind of in a trend kind of thinking bias probably right before 8 o'clock, and then we had at like 7:57 or so our dump off. It would have been over there. And like I said, I should have been watching the short 20s, and I just didn't. Still kind of been off by the move. And the consumer confidence came out. I mean, I made some money.
Right.
A few ticks, but I certainly didn't make as much as I should have. Trend days are kind of, what I sit around and wait for, especially one like this. But this just seemed really irrational to me. It's like this more aggressive than usual.
See, I think that's exactly what happened. I think that there was a lot of people at, like you were saying, like the 17 and 08 in the 10-year that expected today to be somewhat range bound. So there was just way too many people fading it there. This is exactly when we had, I don't even remember his name now at the moment, but, Tucker. We had another guy in here, and he was pretty good at catching, like, the bounces, and I'm guessing that if he was trading that he would have bought whole 5.5 like I did, but immediately gotten out at 0.65 because he was only taking, like, 2 on average. And now, as I said, it's like that right now, but soon enough, the market is going to come where whenever there's a wall, they're going to plow right through it. And that's exactly what you get today. And so it's like you have all these scalpers that have been fading everything for so long and are so used to it. And then their systems start failing and you get this kind of move.
Right. It's also a little counterintuitive, but, it's kind of a bit of a red flag. The way I look at it anyway is, obviously got ES at lows, so almost, I have a 4-tick rotation up here at 14, so I should just be looking to sell 13s, but I don't like it because yes is at its lowest.
Yeah, and it seems like something else is going on here with the currencies that kind of triggered that last little flush, because it's unusual for them to have been positively correlated like that. Yeah, we had a lot of longs at 055 too. Like, that was the thing, is that we took the signal at 055 and it worked, and it was just only it was only good for 2. And when we saw that those offers in the 5-year, you know, come up and prevent us from going any higher, that's when we should have gotten out. That was our exit signal. But we didn't see it. It looks like most people didn't see it until it was going into the lows and they all puked.
You guys get a lot of longs at 055. Been up like time. Watching all three, and I did mention before, I'm like, I don't really have a bias with this. Notice we started getting to the bottoms. Was starting to move down. Yeah, I think I'll hit the bottom. Like, I wasn't at the piece. Like, that move down did.
Yeah. That was definitely puking. And not only that, but you can see ever since that happened that the volume is like completely died off, you know? Everybody's just closing their trades and all of the scalpers are fed up and quitting.
Just iceberg for
The volume is in like biggest indicator. Well, you know, hoping for it just sucks. There's literally no.
Right.
You know, being in a trade flipping because you're buying at the offer, and already kind of putting. You know, I'm kind of typing out what I'm thinking. I was wanting to get short earlier, but the volume was really shitty. Volume picked up, and I was long. But I've been flat for like.
Yeah.
And again, I'm just trying to say this to like. The very likely could have been wrong.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is that it's like there's a cycle to it, right? So right now you have this situation where we'll go and break a level, and then we came to a place where there was a high probability of a reversal. That's something that I've found is pretty consistent, is once you get to the third standard deviation, very unlikely that they're going to go much further without a little bit of a pullback, right? And then right now the market tendency is, oh, okay, we're just going to pull back maybe 4 ticks on ZB, and then we're going to plow through it. That's the tendency right now. And about the time that we all decide that that's the tendency and start trading that, it'll change. And then it will turn into, oh, it'll come to 070, and then all of a sudden somebody will just decide to buy it, and we'll go all the way back to the VWAP, you know?
To me, that's been my. Of course, I'm watching the price and the level. Ace. It's just an
Well, the pace definitely changes because you have like an action and a reaction, right? Like the key decision point was when we were at 117 in the 5-year, and they didn't push through. So if they had pushed through, then you would have seen the same thing but the other way, and it's just that the volume would have been buying instead of selling. And like you said, when it's kind of low volume, it kind of turns into you're at the mercy of the next big guy that decides to block sell something.
Yeah, so you should out, right?
Yeah. But so the key is, though, is you have to have an edge that well you either, one, have to be able to tell what type of market we're in and trade it that way, which I haven't been able to figure out yet, or you have to have an edge that's able to deal with those two different situations, which generally means that your signal is not going to just be the icebergs and big bids offers. So it's like, especially the big bids and big offers are so obvious that it's never going to be consistent. You're going to have a market regime where they trade it one way and a market regime where they trade it the other way.
You know, so
Yeah. Although I'd say that one was for real. I mean, what was it? It was 0.55. I mean, they did trade 72.57 there. I think one of the things that happens that messes people up is that it seems to me that some of these algorithms, when their order gets to be on the inside, they convert to an iceberg. So you see, like, when we came down to the 0.5 or whatever, they pulled, you know, like 2,000-3,000 pulled, but then they still traded well over what was actually there.
I don't know. People have more experience than me already know. Right now, one is kind of a range of we're at top. Like, if I was in a range trade this, I want to go right now. But these ranges are gonna risk like so in this situation breakdown. I'm not gonna take a trade until I see all three trading at they're telling me low or if wants to. Off the room. That's trade I'm not gonna.
Yeah, there's definitely something to them being lined up correctly and being generally the same location in their ranges or key points. And unless there's like some sort of obvious spread trade going on where you have like icebergs, huge icebergs on, you know, one on the bid and one the offer and the other one, then that's a little different. But
Like, that's stuck at the bottom. Looking for that. I didn't take it.
Yeah, see, in this, just kind of looking back at how I can play it, I think that when I took that long at 055, I think that was a really good trade. I should have gotten out of it earlier and taken a profit, but it was a good trade and it just didn't happen to go, you know? But the ones that still bothers me is, you know, the earlier. It's like, when do you decide that this actually isn't going to be a range day? Because my whole thing was at the 08, where I saw a pretty clear signal and I took it long and I got blown out, right? And then you turn around and you're like, well, the right choice was right off of the open, sell the VWAP and just hold it, you know? There was some, let's see here, where I can take a picture of it. Oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't 08, it was 07.
Yeah, that's when I was typing. I was like, I want to add to my...
See, that was like the moment. That's where it was like, okay, lots of people are expecting it to keep going, and then they broke through and there was a stop run. And when there was a stop run, people bought the stop run, which in the past has been a really, really good signal long. And then they sold it again. And then it was like, oh, okay, maybe that's when I said in chat, this might trend. Like we do have some levels below us now, but this might trend. And the question is, how can you anticipate that before it happens and just be short the whole way, you know? Well,
what happened to me yesterday? Yesterday, I ended the day.
Right. Oh yeah.
What I noticed from yesterday was that we had huge icebergs on the buy all the way down, but
yes.
Like there was large volume on both, but like they were trying to buy it. I was seeing that same thing at 10K sold versus, yeah, that's a huge.
Yep.
I had to hold my. I wanted to add to it.
But and this is where I would say this. Here's the problem with order flow. It's not enough, because yes, you can see people that have just made trades, and you can see people that maybe are going to make trades if they get filled. But what you can't see is all of the people sitting there with their finger on the trigger, just waiting to market buy or sell something. And you have no clue how much of that is out there. It's impossible to know. In this situation, there's some institution out there, or maybe even a government, that's willing to sell 30,000 contracts, and you can't see them. Then it doesn't matter how much people are absorbing or whatever, they can go through them. And so the thing with order flow is it's more of like a management sort of a thing. It lets you see, okay, if I see a level and I have some reason to go long there, some other edge besides that, and then I come down and I see that I'm also getting the order flow signal, that just means there are other people taking that same trade. And given the situation, that can help your trade. But it's not enough by itself.
Like you have enough.
Well, I think that right now I have a strategy that in the kind of market,
Yes or no?
I don't think you do. So I think that I have a strategy that is profitable long term, that is based on trending action. So like the strategy that I would have traded in the past, like last February would have been I would have literally have sold 11. I would have just sold 11 and held it, and I probably would have gotten out when it broke 070. I probably would have gotten out at that one, and that would have been the strategy. And the problem with it though is that then you go into range bound mode, right? And then you lose about half of it, or you go, you start going crazy and you have like a 3-month drawdown, and that's why I stopped trading it. But I think that over the long term, like year over year, probably would be profitable. Because my account's not big enough to handle that much of a drawdown. So it's still back to figuring out when I can use that strategy. So now I have something else, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think that this something else, in the right circumstances, if I got really good at it, because I was seeing other people are doing it, like Keith does this really, really well, right? And they're just taking like the pullbacks a lot of the time. And so I think that one can be profitable long term too. So it's like, okay, so I have the range action down and I have the trend action down, but I need to figure out an edge, and I'm back testing and I'm just not finding anything yet, but I've got to find an edge where, to figure out which one you should be doing that day.
Yeah, I mean, like, sometimes I hear you talking about you don't believe in.
Oh yeah, I only say those things.
I was trying to trade off like cards to a bunch of things. I lost like. Why did I do that? It didn't make sense, but it's all I knew. I kept doing it. Now I feel like I'm really. Order flow doesn't. Everything is. Definitely feel a lot more calm. Took big losses just. I'm not upset about it. Literally just. That's just like I got fucked over.
Yeah. Well, that's where. So the reason why I say some of those things is because we've seen, because I think we've been up a year and a half, maybe almost 2 years now, and I've just seen many times where it's like, we'll see something, and we'll be talking about it in the channel, and we're saying, oh, well, this happened, and this is why it happened, and while that's good, I get afraid that newer traders will read that and think that that's the strategy that they should be doing, and that's why I'm always like, well, okay, right now it works, but this is the situation where it doesn't work, and at some point you're going to find over time that thing either doesn't work or maybe is less consistent than you want it to be, because then the market will go into this tendency.
That's why I'm always philosophical.
No, but you can just kind of look at this particular situation, and analyzing it is still helpful. But the bigger question is, what are those teeny tiny little nuances that are going to make the difference for you as to whether you bought or sold there, that you can have a longer term edge on.
Especially right now.
It's just kind of like when we were there around 055 and you were saying, well, we're building volume in a range, so maybe that's not a very good place to be taking a trade, right? Like that can be a teeny tiny nuance that, maybe only actually matters once a week, but ends up making a big difference to your strategy as to whether or not it's profitable or not.
someone looking, well, like Igor, right? He's trading with like it's way longer.
Yeah. Now, the other thing that I'm finding frustrating right now is that I feel like the order flow keeps telling me to go against the longer term things that I see. Because the longer term thing that I saw was, oh hey, yesterday was a pretty good day. We could either consolidate and move later, or we could just decide to go and do it right now.
Yeah, so this is my point. That's what I'm saying, is like you got two things. Why do you
Yeah.
Again, I'm not trying to attack you. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that one.
Helping with order flow.
I mean, I'm trying.
I mean this in the most constructive way. I'm not.
I look at the longer term thing, right? What I'm doing right now is obviously I always see the longer term thing, and I just can't help but notice it, but I am ignoring it and just trading what the order flow is telling me. And the main thing that I am trading is those spots. So that last trade should have been profitable, but it was only worth +2. The one before that was a loser. That sort of a thing likely doesn't happen very often, but most of this I think is kind of all a wash because it's still summer. So I have to wait. I'm gonna. No, I think I got it out at right as it was happening, but I didn't take it off at 06 like I should have. Anyways, so what we have to do is we have to say, okay, let September start, like after ADP in September, and trade it for a month, and then we can make a conclusion about how effective it actually is. And we have to look at also, how well I actually traded it. But I think that the problem is still going to be that I need a better indication of when we're trending and when we're not. I guess Rome wasn't built in a day, right?
I'm gonna head out for the night.
All right, I'm headed out for the day, guys. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Okay, well, and I kind of already reviewed this, but this one I should have been plus maybe 1 or 2. This one was okay. This one I really was way too early and I shouldn't have taken, so I really should have been selling there, and I'm not sure what I was thinking, but we're gonna try doing it differently tomorrow, so yeah, we'll see. We're gonna figure this out. But they're just going to be back and forth. We're going to figure out when we really should be trying to take the trend and when not. So, all right. Well, are there any comments before I go? I'm already a little late, but yeah, okay, yeah. Because he was kind of talking about as it was happening, seeing the same things. So, all right. Well, I will catch you guys tomorrow.